Hey there, everybody. Welcome to another game of round one of the Strat B.A.T.S double elimination tournament. We are into the fourth game in this tournament, which is the third most requested voted in the voting, and that is St. Louis and Oakland, where St. Louis is the higher seed, so they are the default home team. You can see the lineups that I have there for this ball game. Again, this is played in basic only, because some of the older cards, that's all I have the seasons produced in, are basic, so, or classic, whichever, however you want to term it or call it. And actually, it's I'm not the biggest fan of basic. I really like the advanced better, and maybe even some super advanced, because I'm a big lefty righty guy. But actually, in playing this basic for the first couple of games, it's kind of gotten into it a little bit, and the games do go by fast. I mean, half hour or less. Usually it's about 25 minutes if we get a good pitching duel. Or even if you don't get a good pitching duel, sometimes it can go 20 to 25 minutes. So you've got a good look at the lineups there. Starting pitchers, Bob Gibson of 1969 and Catfish Hunter from 1973. So we'll move this out of the way and get ready for first pitch. No doubleheader today, just this one game. So we'll flip this over this way. I was going to do this live as a live stream, but I saw that Tabletop Earl is on now with his Hall of Fame tournament, and I don't want to go head-to-head with him. I don't want to. I want people to be able to watch his live and not have to make a decision about who to watch, and it's just, I just think it's easier for me to do it this way. So even though the little watermark says Camera Fi Live, I'm just doing that because that makes it easier to post onto YouTube, and I don't have to wait like 6 hours for it to download. So that's the reason for that. All right, so leading things off will be Rickey Henderson. This is his 1990 season for Rickey Henderson, when he hit 28 home runs and hit 325 for the year. Doesn't give his stolen base total, but he is a double-A stealer. All right, so Bob Gibson facing Rickey Henderson, and we're underway. It's a 2-8. So 2-8 for Rickey is a fly ball to left field. So out there to Lou Brock. One speedster flies to another. One away. Here's Jose Canseco. This is a 1988 famous season that he went 40-40. 40 homers and 40 stolen bases. It's a 2-8, another 2-8. That's back-to-back 2-8s that I've rolled. And for Jose Canseco, unfortunately for him, a 2-8's a strikeout. So 2 up, 2 down for Bob Gibson. Brings up Reggie Jackson. This is his 1969 season when he hit 47 home runs. There, Reggie. It's a 6-6. So now we're under Bob Gibson for the first time. So 6-6 under Bob Gibson. A 1-15 is a single. 16-20 is a lineup. In fact, I should have Bob Gibson's card up here, shouldn't I? There we go. All right, so a 1-15 is a single. Anything else is a line out to second. It's a 3, so it's a base hit for Reggie. 2-out single for Reggie Jackson. Brings up Mark McGwire. This was his rookie season, 1987. And he hit 49 home runs that season. I don't have the 98 set, so I don't have the one where he hit 70 home runs or 65 or 62 or whatever it was he hit. 5-6 for Gibson is a strikeout. So Gibson comes back, strikes out McGwire, and the A's go down in the first. So we go to the bottom of the first, and we'll put Catfish Hunter in the box to face Lou Brock. And for Lou Brock, this is his 1971 card. He had 7 home runs and hit 313. It's a 6-7 off of Catfish. Ground ball second base X, so we got a defensive check right away. That's Tony Phillips, and he's a 3. And that's a 10. So second base, a 3 and a 10 is a 1-base error. How about that? Tony Phillips boots it. And Lou Brock is aboard, and he's thinking about running. So Lou Brock looking to run, and he's a double-A stealer, which means his rating is a 1-17. But then you have to look at the catcher, and the catcher in this case is Steinbach. He is a 3, so I believe that's going to knock it down by a couple. So let's see. I don't have the rule book in front of me for this basic, but I think a 3 knocks it down by 2. We'll double check that. But it's a 3. It doesn't matter. It's going to be a stolen base anyway. He's well beat that out. So Lou Brock reaches on an error, steals second, brings up Keith Hernandez. And for Keith Hernandez, this was his co-MVP 1979 season for Keith Hernandez. Hit 344 with 11 homers. It's a 5-7 against Catfish, and that's going to be a double or a single depending on the D20. A 1 to 12 will be a double. 13 to 20 is a single. Either way, a run's going to score. And that's a 3, so it's a double for Keith Hernandez. And unearned run comes across the plate. The Cardinals lead it 1-0. Brings up Albert Pujols. This is his 2004 season. Hit 46 home runs and 331 average. It's a 2-5 for Pujols. It's ground ball shortstop A, so the ground ball to the shortstop, the runner had to hold. And there's one away. Would have been a double play had somebody been on first. All right, batting cleanup is Stan the Man Musial. And for Stan Musial, this is his 1955 card. Hit 33 home runs and a 319 average. It's a 3-5, and a 3-5 is a single for Stan Musial. Now the question is, does Keith Hernandez score? Keith Hernandez runs at a 12, so they're going to hold him up. They don't want to risk it. So runners are at the corners with 1 out. And Jim Edmonds, his 2004 season for Jim Edmonds, when he hit 42 home runs and hit 301. 1-8 for Edmonds, and that's a home run. Jim Edmonds just cracked a 3-run shot off of Catfish Hunter. And Catfish in trouble here in the first, as a 3-run shot makes it 4-0 in favor of the Cardinals. That'll bring up Joe Torre. This is his famous 1971 MVP season when he hit 363 with 24 homers. And that's a 2-9. And a 2-9 is a fly to center for out number 2. So 2 down for Ted Simmons, and this is his 1977 season. He hit 21 home runs and 318 average. It's a 3-5, 3-5, a 1 to 13 is a home run for Ted Simmons. 14 to 20 is a double. So Catfish getting knocked around quite a bit. It's a 10, that's gone. Home run, Ted Simmons. It is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-0 Cardinals here in the first. And the A's bullpen. Dick Williams has to get the A's bullpen up in a hurry. Here's Matt Carpenter, his 2015 season. He's playing second base and hitting 8th in the lineup. And that's a 4-7. 4-7's a strikeout, so Catfish came back to strike him out. But 8 batters come to the plate, 5 of them score. And after 1 complete, Bob Gibson's been given a 5-0 lead to protect. Starts the top of the second, it'll be Jason Giambi. Giambi, his 2001 season, he hit 342 with 38 homers. So the A's do have the firepower to come back. It's a 4-6. 4-6 against Gibson, though, is a fly to right. 1 away as Giambi is out of there. Here's Miguel Tejada. This is his 2002 season. 34 home runs, hit 308. And that's a 5-5. And that's a strikeout. So Gibson faring well because the results are coming off of his card, not the A's cards. I'll bring up Eric Chavez, and that's his 2001 season, in which he hit 32 home runs and hit 288. He's at third base today, hitting 7th. It's a 5-8. We're under Gibson again. Fly ball to center. So Gibson getting the luxury of having things come off his card, and they have been working to his advantage as the A's go down in order 1, 2, 3. Here's Catfish. He's going to try to recoup here. Number 9 man, the order is Ozzie Smith, his 1987 season. He hit 303. It's a 212. 212, it's ground ball to short, so 1 away. And we're back to the top of the order, and Lou Brock, he reached on the Tony Phillips error his first time up and scored on the Hernandez double after he stole a base. 3-4. 3-4 for Lou Brock is a 1-9 triple. 10-20 is a double. So Catfish getting hurt because they're coming off the batter's cards instead of his card. 15 is going to be a double for Lou Brock. So Lou Brock, a one-out double. Back to Keith Hernandez. Speaking of doubles, he doubled his first time up. It's a 1-5, and again, we're off the batter's card, but this time Keith Hernandez flies to right for out number 2. So 2 down for Albert Pujols. He grounded to short his first time up. It's a 1-7, and again, we're off the batter's card, and Catfish pays for it. It's a double for Pujols. Another run will score, and it is now 6-0 Cardinals. But you can't blame Catfish because he has no say in the matter. They're coming off the batter's cards. Here's Stan Musial. And again off the batter's cards, 2-7. But it's a ground ball to third, and that's going to end the inning. But Catfish, for his defense, he's not having a whole lot of say in the matter because of the fact they're coming off the batter's cards rather than the pitcher cards. All right, Bob Gibson back in the box. And Terry Steinbach, catching, batting 8th, his 1987 season. He hit 16 home runs and hit 284. And that's a 5-5, so we're back to Bob Gibson. He's getting the benefit of results off his own card. And the A's pay for it again with a strikeout. All right, brings up the number 9 hitter, Tony Phillips, who made that error in the first inning. This is Tony Phillips from 1984. Second baseman, he hit 266 with 4 dingers. The A's just did not have a whole lot of second basemen that did much in their history. So we're digging deep to get second baseman for the A's. 3-9, we finally got some off the batter's card, but it's off of Phillips's card, and that's a strikeout. So even off the batter's card, it was a weak batter, so Gibson took advantage. Back to the top of the order for Ricky Henderson. He flied to left his first time up. 5-6. Again, it's under the pitcher's card, so it's a strikeout. So Gibson getting the huge advantage. He strikes out the side. And we go to the bottom of the third. It's 6-0 Cardinals. No sense taking Catfish out. He can't control anything. When you get off the batter's cards, he has no say in it. Here's Edmonds. And again, we're off the batter's card. 2-5. And 2-5, 1-17 is a single. Anything else will be a line out to second. And it's a single for Jim Edmonds, so he's 2 for 2. Brings up Joe Torre. Catfish could use a double play. Again, it's off the batter card. 2-3. 2-3. It's not a double play. It's a fielder's choice grounder to second, so it's a 4-6 force play. 1 away, and that brings up Ted Simmons. Ted Simmons, and again, we're off the batter card. Catfish can't catch a break. 1-6. But he did catch a break this time. 1-6. If I can get it focused right, it's a ground ball shortstop A. That's a double play, 6-4-3. So finally, things going the way of Catfish Hunter and his favor because he's not getting too many results off of his pitching card. All right, we go to the fourth, still 6-0. And Jose Canseco's up. He struck out his first time up. In fact, speaking of strikeouts, Gibson has struck out 6 in 3 innings. It's a 3-9. 3-9. That's going to be a single for Canseco. So Mr. Gibson finding out what it's like when the result comes off the batter card versus the pitcher card. He doesn't get that kind of advantage. Here's Reggie Jackson. Catfish saying, see how you like it. 6-7. 6-7's a walk. It's off the pitcher card, but it's a walk. So maybe some chinks in the armor. Runners at first and second. Brings up Mark McGwire. Certainly capable of going deep. 2-8, but he's also capable of striking out, which is what he did. So that's strikeout number 7 for Gibson. And that brings up Jason Giambi. 4-7. 4-7's a ground ball second base X. Second baseman for the Cardinals is Carpenter. He's a 4. And that's a 9, so we'll check that result. A 4 and a 9. Out with no runners on base, 4. All right, 4. If no runners are forced, runners hold, where they will be forced. With one or more forced, batter is safe. Run on first is out. So it's basically a fielder's choice, in so many words. So Giambi reaches on the fielder's choice. Reggie is out at second. We'll call it 4-6. And Canseco will move to third. So runners are at the corners, 2 outs. And it's up to Miguel Tejada to keep the inning going. But not under Gibson's card. 5-5 is a strikeout. Strikeout number 8. Almost seems unfair, doesn't it? That's the way the dice roll. All right, bottom of the fourth. Matt Carpenter against Gibson. I'm sorry, against Catfish. 4-9. So Catfish finally gets something off his own card, and he still might give up a single. 1-17 is going to be a single. It is a 17. It's a base hit for Carpenter. Leadoff single. Brings up Ozzie Smith. Good thing about bunting, but you're up 6-0, so why bother? 6-7. 6-7 is a ground ball, second base X. That's Phillips. He might make another error for all we know. He's a 4. I'm sorry, he's a 3. Not a 4, he's a 3, and that's a 12. So 12 and a 3 is out. It's a fielder's choice again with that out with no base runners. So that's going to be a fielder's choice. 4-6, 1 away. Brings up Lou Brock, top of the order. And Brock reached on an error and doubled and scored 2 runs as well as stolen the base. 3-9, 3-9. This time Lou Brock's going to strike out. So that's 2 down for Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez. Hernandez a 1-7. And that's a single with 2 stars, if I can get it focused right. Single with 2 stars for Keith Hernandez. So that puts runners at the corners with 2 outs, and Albert Pujols the batter. Catfish needs to bear down. It's a 5-5, and he does. It's a fly ball to center, and that's going to end the inning. So he leaves him stranded at first and third. So we go to the 5th, and it's still a comfortable Cardinals lead of 6-0. And Eric Chavez, the batter. Chavez. It's a 4-10 off of Gibson. Ground ball shortstop X, that's Ozzie. He's a 1, obviously, as you might imagine. And that's a 12. So a 1 and a 12. And how do you like that? Ozzie just made an error. A 12 on the chart with a 1. If you roll 11 or a 12, it's a 1-base error. So Chavez found the E6 for Ozzie Smith. That definitely not something you are used to seeing. So Chavez reaches, and here's Terry Steinbach. That's a 2-9. 2-9 for Steinbach is a single, so that'll put runners at first and second with nobody out. Not going to risk it down 6-0. Brings up Tony Phillips. See what he can do. That's a 4-10. 4-10 ground ball shortstop X, so we're back to Ozzie again. As long as he doesn't roll 11 or a 12, he's all right. It's a 13. He barely missed it. So 13. A 13 is going to be an out 3, and an out 3 says runner on first is out going to second, providing there is 1 completion of a double play. So it's a double play, and that's going to be a 6-4-3 for 2 quick outs. Chavez will go to third, but now there's 2 outs, and it'll be up to Ricky Henderson to keep it going. That's a 4-10, and a 4-10 is another ground ball shortstop X, so Ozzie getting a lot of work in this inning. That's a 15, and a 15 with a shortstop. 15 is another out, number 3, so that's simply going to be a ground ball to short with the runner at third, as that's the 3rd out, and nothing happening for the A's. So we go to the bottom of the 5th. Probably going to be Catfish's last inning, as he'll be facing Musial, Edmonds, and Torrey. In fact, they're going to go ahead and pull Catfish. They figure that's enough for Catfish. So let's look and see who else they might want to bring in. They are going to bring in, they've got a lot of starters in their pitching staff. Not that many relief pitchers. Let's see who they might go to here. Appears to start the 5th. We're going to go to Sean Doolittle. So might be Doolittle too late, but they're going to try it anyway and see what happens. So Doolittle is on. This was Doolittle his 2014 season. 22 saves. So Sean Doolittle. And I'm playing it, even though it's basic and lefty-righties don't matter, I'm playing the strategies as if it did, because we have 2 lefties to lead off, Musial and Edmonds. So playing the percentages and trying to keep it as realistic as possible. 3-6, 3-6 from Musial. It's going to be a single unless he rolls a 20. That's the only thing that's going to stop it. And it's 10, so it's a base hit from Musial. He's 2 for 3. And the Cardinals keep rolling. Here's Jim Edmonds. Edmonds, a 6-12 fly ball to center off of Doolittle, and that's one away. Brings up Joe Torre. Torre, a 2-4. 2-4 is a pop out to short. So 2 away. Brings up Ted Simmons, catcher. He's homered and grounded into a double play. 4-4. Fly ball center field X, so the center fielder is Reggie, and he is a 3. And that's a 7. So an outfielder, of course, in the basic, outfielder, center fielder is all the same. A 3 and a 7 is an out 1, so he makes the play. And the inning is over. So Doolittle pitches a perfect inning. And we go to the 6th. Still 6-0. Jose Canseco coming to the plate. 2-9 for Canseco, and he will draw a walk. So a leadoff walk to Jose Canseco. Not going to steal when you're down 6-0, so he stays in there for Reggie. 6-2. 6-2 is a walk by Gibson. So back-to-back base on balls. And the A's trying to get something going will rely on Mark McGwire. It's a 2-8 for McGwire, but he's going to strike out for out number 1. So now it'll be up to Giambi to keep it going. Giambi, a 5-7. 5-7, Giambi did it. 1-4 is a double. 5-20 is a single. Either way, at least one run is going to score. Well, one run only because there's 2 stars. It's a 10, so that is a single. But there's 2 stars on that single, so Canseco will come around to score. Jackson will go to third on the single by Giambi. And the A's are on the board, 6-1. Still have something cooking. Runners at the corners, 1 out for Miguel Tejada. But he's 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. 4-6. And he's 4-6 is a fly ball right field B. That's a sacrifice fly. So it's a sac fly to right field. That'll bring in Reggie. Cut the lead to 6-2. So at least they've got something going for themselves. And here's Eric Chavez. 2 outs and a runner at first. So 3-7. And that's a ground ball to first base. Handled by Hernandez, and the inning is over. But the A's pick up 2 runs. Cut the lead to 6-2. And now we'll get a new pitcher for the A's. Doolittle just a 1-inning guy, so you're not going to want to wear him out by any means. So we go to the bullpen again. And let's see, they're going to have Carpenter, Smith, and Brock, a lot of lefties. So they're going to go back to another lefty. And let's see who they've got. If they have any more lefties in the bullpen, they may not. I don't think they do, actually. So we're going to shoo that particular possibility and just go to some other relief pitcher. And we're going to go to Raleigh Fingers. Somebody can give him a couple of innings, maybe. So Raleigh Fingers is in. And for Raleigh Fingers, this is his 1973 season. He was 7-8 with a 1.93 ERA and 22 saves. Also had 2 starts that year, so he could go both directions. Facing Matt Carpenter. And that is a 2-4 for Carpenter. 2-4. Ground ball to first. Handled by McGwire for 1 away. Brings up Ozzie Smith. And Ozzie, a 5-4 off of Fingers, is a fly ball center field X. That's Reggie again, and he is a 3. And that is an 11. I think that's a good play. 3, oh no, it's not. 3 and 11 is a double. How about that? A 3 and an 11 is a double. If it was a 1, he'd be out. But as a 3, it's a double. And Ozzie gets his first hit of the game. A 1-out double that fell in the gap that Reggie couldn't get to. Here's Lou Brock. Brock, a 5-9, is a strikeout. So Fingers, with the strikeout of Brock, brings up Keith Hernandez. It's a 4-9. 4-9 is a walk. So he walks Hernandez, puts runners at first and second with 2 outs for Albert Pujols. That's 2-10. Pujols grounds to third. Chavez fields it, and the inning is over. So they threaten but get nothing. And we go to the 7th. Gibson's still in there will be facing Steinbach, although the Cardinal bullpen is loosening. Here's Steinbach. Steinbach is a 3-7. 3-7 is a strikeout. Strikeout for Steinbach, and we've got a pinch hitter for Tony Phillips, as they want some offense in the game. And Mark Ellis will be the new second baseman going forward. But for a pinch hitter, they need some guy with some thump in his bat. And they're going to go to Chris Davis. This is his 2000, whoops, hit the camera there. Sorry about that, folks. This is his 2016 season where he hit 42 home runs. So Chris Davis is going to pinch hit for Tony Phillips, and then Mark Ellis will take over at second base. So Chris Davis, the pinch hitter here in the 7th inning. See if he can get something going here for the A's. Well, on Gibson's card, it won't matter. 4-10, ground ball shortstop X. That again is Ozzie. And for Ozzie, the 4, and he's a 1. So 4 is out number 3, but with the bases empty, it really doesn't matter. It's just a simple ground out. 2 down. So Chris Davis fails in his pinch hitting duties. Here's Ricky Henderson. It's a 2-4 for Ricky, and he grounds it right back to Gibson to end the inning. And that's probably going to be all for Gibson. They let him go 7, and that's it. They don't want to wear him out. So he will be coming out for a new pitcher in the top of the 8th. But Raleigh Fingers is in for another inning of work. He'll give him one more inning. And he'll be facing Stan the Man Musial. It's a 2-5. 2-5 for Stan Musial is a fly to center. That is 1 away. Brings up Jim Edmonds. Edmonds, it's a 4-8. 4-8 is a 1-3 for a single. 4-20 is a line out to first. It's a 1, so it's a single for Jim Edmonds. He's 3 for 4. That's the kind of day it has been for the A's. Single chance is a 1-3, and he finds it. Here's Joe Torre. 5-4 is a fly ball center field X. That's Reggie again. Reggie. It's a 17. He's a 3. So a 17 is an out number 1. Out number 1, and it says here, runners advance 1 base. So that's a fly ball out. That doesn't even make any sense that a runner would advance 1 base on that. But that's what it says, out number 1. So we're going to give him 1 base. That's what it says. It doesn't make any sense, but I guess I'll go with it. If that's incorrect, somebody let me know. But I'm just going by what the chart says. So Torre is out, and that brings up Ted Simmons. And Simmons, a 1-9. So 1-9 is a ground ball to second. That's going to end the inning anyway, so it's a moot point. And nothing doing for the Cardinals in the 7th. So that's going to be it for Raleigh. He pitches 2 innings. So he'll get relief as well. But for the Cardinals to start the 8th, Bob Gibson gets some handshakes. Good job, all that good stuff. And they'll go to their bullpen. And they're going to go to Todd We Are the Worrell, his 1986 season when he was 9-10 with a 2.08 ERA. I believe he had 36 saves. The card doesn't say it, but I believe it was 36 saves. So Todd Worrell in to start the top of the 8th, protecting a 6-2 lead, facing Jose Canseco. It's a 3-7 for Canseco. And Canseco is going to get either a double or a single. 1-16 will be that double. And it's a 13, so it's a double for Jose. So the A's trying to rebound again. Here's Reggie. 6-7 off of Worrell. 6-7 is a ground ball shortstop X. That's Ozzie Smith again. It's a 7, and it's for Ozzie. 7 is an out 3, and out 3 says runner on first is out going to other runners advance 1 base. So it's advanced to third by Canseco. So he's at third with 1 out for Mark McGuire. And it's a 5-8. 5-8 from Worrell is a strikeout. So 2 down. And McGuire is 0 for 4 in this game, all 4 strikeouts. But to be fair to him, at least 2 or 3 of the results will be coming off the pitcher card. So Guess to cut him some slack. Here's Jason Giambi trying to bring the run home. And he'll do it. 1-8 is going to be a double or a single, but 2 stars, so that's going to bring the run home from third for sure. 1-9 will be a double. 17, so it's merely a single, but it's an RBI single for Giambi that scores Canseco. And the A's have cut the lead to 6-3. Brings up Miguel Tejada, and now Bruce Sutter warming in the Cardinal bullpen. It's a 4-9. 4-9 is a walk by Worrell. And just like that, the A's now, with all that going on, the A's now have the tying run. As I drop my die, the A's now have the tying run at the plate in Eric Chavez, and they're going to go to the bullpen. The Cardinals are going to the bullpen. They're going to go to Bruce Sutter to try to get a 4-out save, which for Bruce Sutter back in his day was no problem at all. This is the Bruce Sutter 1984 card. We had a 1.54 ERA. It was pretty dominant, obviously. So Bruce Sutter looking to wrap things up, get out of the 8th, and finish the 9th. And he'll be doing it against Eric Chavez. 2 outs, 2 on. Tying run at the plate in Eric Chavez. It's a 6-5. That's a pop out to third, and that's going to end the inning. Had Worrell still been in the game, that 6-5 would have been a fly to center, so they would have got out of it as well, in case you were curious. But it's a pop to third, and that's going to end the inning. 1 run comes in. It's now a 6-3 ball game, and now we need a new pitcher for the A's to pitch the bottom of the 8th and try to keep things close. And they're going to go to Houston Street. So Houston Street, his 2005 card where he had 23 saves and a 1.72 ERA. So Houston Street, 4th pitcher for the A's. He'll be facing Carpenter, Smith, and Brock. Anybody gets on, Keith Hernandez. That's a 5-8 off of Houston Street, and that's a strikeout. So Carpenter down on strikes. 1 away for the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith. He's been busy in the field for sure. A lot of defensive checks for him. 4-10 is a ground ball third base X. Speaking of defensive checks, that's Chavez. He's a 1. And that's a 9, so most likely a good play. 1 and a 9 is an out number 3. A 10 would have been an error, but a 9 is an out. So Chavez makes the play. 2 down, 2 up, 2 down. As Houston Street going through the Cardinals pretty easily. Here's Lou Brock. It's a 1-7, and it's a ground ball to third, and that's going to end the inning. So a 1-2-3 relief inning for Houston Street. And that brings us to the top of the 9th as Bruce Sutter looking to wrap things up. He'll be facing Steinbach, Mark Ellis, who came in for Tony Phillips, and then Ricky Henderson. And if you look on the bench for the A's, they don't have a whole lot offensively remaining. Most of their cards are pitcher cards. They do have Sal Bando. They do have Gene Tennis. And Gene Tennis is actually capable. He's actually rated to play second base, albeit terribly. So they're going to pinch hit for Mark Ellis. Although maybe not. Mark Ellis did hit .316 with 13 home runs, so they might leave him in there. You never know. But their options on the bench as far as pinch hitting goes, they have 3 batters remaining. And they are Sal Bando, Gene Tennis, and Bert Campaneris. 2 from 1973, 1 from 1969. So Bando might get in there because he had 31 home runs in 1969. So Bando may hit for Ellis, depending on the situation, depending on if Steinbach reaches. Let's see how this plays out. Here's Steinbach. It's a 2-9, and Steinbach singles on that 2-9, so he's aboard. And now the question is, do you let Ellis hit or do you let Bando hit? Bando has a lot of ground ball A's on his card, though, so if you let him hit, the double plays are a little bit more predominant. So they may go with Ellis, but you know what? They want the long ball. So Sal Bando is going to come in and hit for Mark Ellis. So Sal Bando is your pinch hitter here in the top of the 9th. And from Sal Bando, again, this is his 1969 season when he hit 31 home runs. So you don't want to leave any of your bullets on the bench. Dick Williams is pulling out all stops. It's a 5-6, so it's against Suter, so it's irrelevant. And it's a strikeout. Bruce Suter twirls the strikeout on Bando, so it didn't matter if it was who was hitting that time. That was going to be a strikeout either way you went. Here's Ricky Henderson. 2-7. 2-7 for Ricky is another strikeout. So A's now down to their final out, and it's Jose Canseco. Last chance is Canseco. And that's a 6-5. 6-5 is a pop to third, and the ball game is over. Bruce Suter picks up the 4-out save, and the St. Louis Cardinals ride a 5-run first inning to victory, and they hold on by the final score of 6-4. Winning pitcher was Bob Gibson. The loser was Catfish Hunter, who just didn't have it. But again, in all fairness to him, most of his results were off the batter's cards, so he had very little to do with it. But just the way things go. And now we will move this out of the way and bring in move my score sheet out of the way here. Ooh, score sheet. Come on, here we go. All right, so we're going to bring in our little bracket, and we're going to pencil in or put in pen St. Louis. And now St. Louis in the winner's bracket will be playing the Dodgers in the second round, and the A's will be taking on the Phillies in the second round. And again, the starting pitchers have to miss 2 rounds of starts. So obviously there will not be a Clayton Kershaw sighting or a Bob Gibson sighting in this particular round here. So they'll have to go to someone else. Early indications, it could be Oral Hershiser from 1988 or Fernando Valenzuela from 2016. Those are the 2 optimal choices there. For St. Louis, they've got several choices they could go to after Bob Gibson. Let's see. They've got they got Joaquin Andujar. Dizzy Dean is definitely a possibility. Dizzy Dean is most likely the guy. He was 30-7 with 2.65 ERA, so he certainly has a top candidate there. Let's see. They've got Lon Warnicki from 1941. Bob Tewksbury. Bob Tewksbury was 16-5 with a 2.16 ERA, so that certainly has possibilities. Adam Wainwright, 29, 2.38, so that's got possibilities. So, definitely some good pitching on the Cardinal side. So, not sure who it's going to be yet. I'm kind of leaning, though. Now, look at all these cards. I'm kind of leaning, instead of Dizzy Dean, I'm kind of leaning towards going with Adam Wainwright because he had such a great card and a great year. 20-9 with a 2.38 ERA, or Tewksbury. Tewksbury was 16-5 with a 2.16. So you've got definitely a lot of stuff going on there. I'm kind of leaning to Wainwright, so it's probably going to be Wainwright against Hershiser if I had to guess. But, I don't want to make those decisions now. It's kind of how it feels when the game time rolls around. The only thing that's important is that in the winner's bracket, it will be the Cardinals and Dodgers in the second round. Next game on the docket, doubt any of these will be for video purposes, but the next game on the docket is the Giants and the Pirates. And the winner of that game will be playing the Red Sox in the winner's bracket. The loser of that game will be playing the Mets in the loser's bracket. So that's it from here. Hope everybody enjoyed that presentation of Strat B.A.T.S set. Looked like it was a blowout early on, but the A's, being the A's, they fought back and almost got there. But the Cardinal bullpen, particularly Bruce Suter, just too tough for him. And Gibson pitched his 7 solid innings, allowing just the 2 runs as he picks up the win. All right, that's good from here. Hope everybody has a great day playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. No World Series game tonight. Game 6 will be tomorrow night in L.A. So I'm not a fan of either team. I just like to see good baseball. So I'm kind of pulling for the Dodgers here in Game 6 so that we can have a Game 7. And I'd be pulling for the Astros if they were down 3-2. So I really, like I said, don't have a dog in the fight. Just want to see 7 games. Get as much baseball as possible. So that's going to do it from here. Hope everybody enjoys the series, and I will be doing a recap video of some sort after the first round is over. If I play these other games, I might sneak a video in on Friday, possibly. If I do, it'll be the White Sox and the Reds in that 1919 Black Sox revenge game. So it's possible I might do that Friday. I'm going to save that one as the last game to play in the first round, and if I do, I might do a video of that. We'll wait and see. But until then, as usual, I will see you all down the road.